The weather there. Okay, we're live.
Well, hey.
Everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello. We're on day 4 of 360 healing and happiness. So super excited that for today, because I have a special guest. I'll tell you about her in just a few minutes, but I want you to come on in, invite a friend to come on in, and just join us as we have once again juicy, dynamic, courageous, forward-moving conversation about our healing and our happiness and how they're just connected. They're connected. So come on in. Hello, Kim. Hello. Come on in. Let us know where you're from when you're joining us. Let us know where you are from. And if you're watching the replay, if you can just type in hashtag replay, that would be great. And then still let us know where you're from, because we want to comment, we want to greet you, we want to give a shout out to you, and just let you know that we see you. It's so great to have all of you who are coming in. Kim is from Quebec, Canada. Yay! So we've got the Canadians in the house. All right. You guys know today we have Yetta Decker joining us. And I'm super excited to welcome Yetta in. Yetta and I met in 2018 at Speak and Write with Lisa Nichols. And Yetta is just, we met, my husband and I, both John and I met Yetta and Ken. And Yetta is just a powerful person. I'm going to have her introduce herself in just a few minutes as we continue to greet. Hey, Val, come on in, Valerie from Wilmington, Delaware. I'm super excited, Yetta, because I'm excited about what you have to share with us today. So we're going to get started in just about a minute, giving others opportunity to come in, join us. When you see me looking away, I'm just checking the Facebook page. Remember that it's never a monologue; it's always a dialogue. So please, ask questions, share with us. Michelle is coming in from Toronto. Hello, Michelle. So please share with us. I love Toronto, Michelle. I have lots of family there, and I visit there quite often. Well, I say quite often now, Yetta, but I haven't honestly been to Canada in maybe a little bit over 2 years now. But at one point, I used to spend all of my summers there. Winters, not in love with the winters of Canada, but
the snow has already started here. Michelle, actually, I don't know if it has in Toronto, but I know for Kim, she posted a picture 2 days ago with snow in it. Oh, and wow. I woke up to snow yesterday. Now, the good news, when we get snow at this time of year, it doesn't stay long.
Oh, that's good. That's good. We lived in Minot, North Dakota for a while. And so we used to visit, Montreal and up there. And of course, living in Minot, North Dakota, tons and tons of snow. Yet I remember I used to cry sometimes. When we first moved there, I cried and I told my mom, oh my God, I'm being punished. I'm behind God's back. There's just so much snow. You get cabin fever because you couldn't go anywhere.
Well, actually, Esther, what they say, if you live in Ottawa, Ontario, or anywhere in the vicinity, there is no bad weather. There's just bad clothing.
Oh, okay.
You choose the right clothing and you can go out in minus 40.
Yeah, I guess so. Listen, I've got a lot of family in Canada, right? And so, the winters for them, it's like nothing, no big deal. They just continue moving as if it's just no big deal. So I guess you're right. I guess it's the right clothing.
That's what they tell me.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you're here, everyone that's joining, I just want to introduce to you Yetta Decker. Yetta is a powerhouse. She lives in, are you in Ottawa as well? In Ottawa, Canada. And I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, Yetta. And of course, I'm super excited. Yetta and I talked briefly about her journey towards healing. And so I want to share her with you, because I just know that she is going to help you. She is going to bless you. And so I just want you to receive Yetta, guys, and just listen to what she has to say. Make sure that you're commenting. If you've got questions, you've got comments, if you're in agreement or you understand where she's coming from because you've been there, heart her up. If you're on Facebook, heart her up, comment and say, Yana, you are not alone. YANA. So everyone, Yetta.
Hey, everybody. So I have balloons behind me because I live in a life of celebration. Have you ever lived in a state of celebration? My husband and I, my daughter, my son, our 7 grandbabies, and I don't want to forget my son-in-law and my daughter-in-law, and our teams. We have 4 amazing teams at work and in the businesses that we own. And I would say that we would be often referred to as the, got it together, harmony's happening. There's reason to celebrate every day. So come on, let's celebrate. And I love that about our life. And it's not always like that, of course. There are moments where we think, what are we doing here?
Right.
And yet, even in this immense mode of celebration, even during COVID, another C word, not quite as wonderful as celebration, it wasn't always like this. There was a time when I didn't wake up.
Yeah.
I was non-responsive, lying in my own bed in a puddle of all my own body fluids, I'm told.
Yeah.
And which kind of means your organs are shut down. Yeah. And that's where they found me. My husband and actually my adult daughter and my 3rd grandbaby was there, and they couldn't revive me. So they didn't really know what to do. I guess the good news is there was an ambulance close by, and they took me in, and sometime later I recovered. I came out of ICU. Of course, every story I have from this season is through the lens of someone else's eyes.
Right. Because
I have no remembrance, really. I think I do sometimes, but you know what? It's just because I've heard this story so often. You ever had a story where the healing that needed to happen for you, maybe you've experienced this too, it had to be miraculous? Because if it wasn't miraculous, you weren't coming back.
Right. Yeah.
There was no way out of this thing except through the healing power of God.
Yeah.
Because the doctors couldn't figure it out. They didn't know too many people that had cerebral malaria, and it took them some time to diagnose that, and they misdiagnosed it. And then 2 weeks later, I seized again, another non-responsive state, and this time meningitis. These are the brain things, right? These are the things that take your brain out. So I know what it is to have miraculous healing, and maybe you do too, and that's an incredible opportunity. Like type in chat if you know what it is to have miraculous healing. Share your story, because it's not something you did. It was something that was done for you. That's right. So good, right? And I can't take any credit for it.
Yeah.
None.
And
yet we're having a conversation today about 360-degree healing. So you can clearly see I'm good. Like I'm more than good. And that's why I start with the vibrancy and the vitality and the joy and success and harmony in our life. Because when I went back to see the doctors at the hospital, they said, who are you? Who are you?
They didn't recognize you at all, right?
I think maybe the chart says a name we've seen before.
Yeah.
But who are you? And there's nothing but miraculousness that allows that to happen. So I take no credit for it, just like you probably can't take credit for miraculous healing either.
That's right.
So I'll move on to the second type of healing, which we do have something to do about. It's called restorative. Yeah. Restorative healing is the kind that takes a lot of effort. Like when you've been sick, whether done to you unexpectedly like this, or you just kind of let your weight get away with you, or you chose an addiction and now, and I say chose, I understand there's illness. I'm not minimizing that. I come from a long line of mental health issues in our family. And so restorative, of all the types of healing, actually takes the most energy.
It does.
Have you ever noticed? Pardon?
I'm sorry, just a second. Yetta, guys, if you are, you know exactly what Yetta is speaking about, type in chat, say that's me, or write, just do Yana, Y-A-N-A. You are not alone. Love on her and let her know, listen, I'm hearing you. I'm listening to you. Go ahead, Yetta.
Yeah, it's restorative. And what I want to hear in the chat specifically is, what did you do to restore your health? The miraculous kind was I was breathing again and I was walking again, and the things that I should have had to endure, I did not. And yet restoratively, one of the things I did was I created a checklist. Not a big deal, right? Well, except it had like 76 items on it. And the items on my checklist, it was a daily checklist, were things like brush your teeth.
Right.
Things like floss your teeth, things like take a shower, because I didn't know how to do those things anymore. My brain couldn't remember what to do. So what do you do? What did you have to do to restore your health? Either from self-imposed or something imposed upon you, because these things that you did, chances are someone else may need to do it too.
That's right. So true.
Right? What did you do to restore? And it's one little teeny life step at a time. But it takes,
I love that.
Right? Tiny little life steps. Because we were told in Deuteronomy 30:19, and if you're not a Bible-believing girl or guy, that's totally cool. And yet there's so much truth in this book. So much amazing insight.
So much.
And what it said is choose life or death. I put before you both.
Yes.
Choose life-giving actions.
We're always in choice. We're
always in choice.
Always in choice.
And the desire is that we choose life. So every restorative step that I had to do was about choosing life. Just a little more life than I had yesterday.
Yes. Yes. I love what you said, Yetta, that it's not a big step, but it's a small step. It's a needle point move. And the most important thing, as you're being restored, is that you take those little steps that's important to healing. That's powerful.
With the checklist that I did, and I lived on that for probably a year. I had my staff I went back to work. I don't know what I was thinking, but I did go back to work, and I literally had a checklist for everything I needed to do. Of course, it was a season I couldn't drive, so I had to learn that again, and I couldn't write properly, so I had to learn that. But what little steps did you do when you had to restore something? They take energy. Have you ever noticed that when you're restoring, it's almost life-sucking, even though it's about life-giving, because it almost takes more energy than the result that you're getting, because you're restoring. You're not third type, which is my favorite, and actually most people's least favorite, because it's not sexy. It doesn't even sound like anything.
Yeah.
And it can so easy to get lost. And that's the healing that I'm going to call preventative. Before the fact, there's nothing going on. Life is good. Life is easy. There's nothing difficult. Hey, Michelle, nothing difficult. And yet, if you do the preventative, the incredible thing is the secret is often you don't have to do the restorative.
Wow, that's so true. That's true. That's true, Yetta. Yeah.
Like 360.
Do it now. 360.
Right? Preventative.
Right, yeah.
And I get, if you're anything like me, there's some things in your family line, or maybe some things in your being, your genetics, hey, Valerie, that actually make your preventative more necessary because you're predisposed to something.
Yeah.
That's hard. Like I'm predisposed to a really robust, powerful, significant, negative, though, mental health struggle. Right? My brother, my uncle, most of my family members have either attempted suicide or have actually accomplished the task.
Wow.
And so it was past family legacy. And it's not my children's family legacy. Because of preventative. Power of God, I'm going to say, by the grace of God, there go I. Sure.
Yes.
And preventative is a game changer. Even if you're predisposed to something.
Yes.
Yes, it's harder. Yes, it takes more effort. It's okay.
Yes.
Because you can still do it. So I'd love to hear your story, your chat. And I'm loving that Michelle is saying some things, Valerie and Kim, because I think all of us are predisposed to something.
Yeah.
That we would just take a life step, an itsy bitsy life step. We'd be good.
Yeah.
We would have forward momentum.
Yeah, exactly. I like to say, Yetta, that you're going to pay one way. With preventative health, you're either going to pay in the front end or you're going to pay in the back end. You know,
you want to be reactive?
Yes.
Or responsive.
Or proactive. You know what I mean?
Proactive and responsive. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's always best to be proactive. It's always best to be responsive, because I love what you're saying, because it's so amazing and so important when it comes to your health, when it comes to your healing. And that's really what God wants. You know, it's our birthright. You know, and we have to be able to catch a hold of that and realize that and begin to have our minds transformed to know I can be healed, I am healed, and I shall be healed. You know? Yeah, love it. Love it.
And as you take a little tiny life step, I'm going to go back to the celebration, Judy, back to celebrating. Because as you take a life step, even if nobody else notices, it's not for them, actually. It's for you. So you just get to choose to celebrate the little wins, the little life steps, because the consistency is the game for preventative. Now, we'll go back to my story. There was nothing I could have done to prevent that, I don't think. So there are times where we have to put the grit, the energy, and the effort into restorative. And yet so often, and maybe you found the same thing, if you had just been preventative, you wouldn't have had to put the effort in.
Yeah, that's right.
It could have been done easily and simply and without so much struggle.
It could be as easy as just not drinking 5 bottles of soda and replacing one at a time with water. Something just as simple as that. You know, I know for me, for my preventative and for my health and my healing, I had to increase my water intake. And so for me, slowly, and I'm a very heavy coffee drinker as well. And so I just slowly began to remove things out of my diet when it came to that. I removed, you know, cream and dairy products and, you know, but I did it on a slow scale, you know, because sometimes it just doesn't come.
It doesn't just show up, right? Part of the miraculous healing, and we're not going to disregard that. We're going to be so grateful for it. And yet when it's not a miraculous healing situation, it's the little itsy bitsy life choices. Maybe a brand new, beautiful water bottle that entices you to want to drink it.
Yes.
Maybe another one in chat, like whether you're watching the replay or you're live in chat, type what things do you celebrate? Like what's the smallest thing?
What's the
smallest life step? Because it's all a step. So it's either a step in life or a step toward death.
That's right.
Only 2 options. So what's the smallest life step that you'll step out and celebrate? Which is just acknowledging yourself for it. What is it?
What is it? Come on, guys, type it in chat. What's the smallest step that you can celebrate? What is it? Type it in chat and let us know. This is juicy conversation. Very good.
It's just the consistency.
Yes.
So is it going to bed at a regular time and getting up at a regular time? Yes. Is it setting your life clock? Yes. Is it, I know one thing I did for a while and it helped my sleep was warm socks. Warm socks in bed. Ken didn't think it was so funny at first, but he got used to it. So is it just little tiny warm socks so that you can sleep better?
I have to tell them to get because this was a big step for me. I got that nice, pretty water, you know, in this yada. So what she's saying is so true, because this is how I gauge how much water I drink. And because I have this, it's increased so much. So true what she's saying, guys. What's that step? What do you do? Sonia says, remember yourself. Good.
Think about your thoughts. Is it just your thought life? Is it the kind of thing where you can say, you know what? The next time I catch myself talking to myself in a way that I wouldn't talk to someone else, would never. Have you ever caught yourself talking to you and you think, what is that? You'd never talk to somebody else like that, but you talk to yourself like that. So is it just catching yourself and celebrating that? And maybe not with a trip to Hawaii. Right now, you can't do that anyway. However, keep the celebration in line with the accomplishment for sure. Right. And yet living in that mode of celebration and acknowledgement is part of the preventative. And it doesn't take much effort. It just takes an intention. So what intention will you be consistent with?
Yeah. And make sure that you're setting those intentions. So put it in a place where you can actually see it. You know, I set my intentions that from 7 in the morning to 7:15, whatever it is, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, that this is what I'm going to do, because we're talking about doing the simple things here. Simple needlepoint moves is what we're speaking of.
When you take a small little life step, like 5 minutes of exercise that Esther just mentioned, doesn't have to be 45 or it doesn't have to be an hour, because at least for me, I would sabotage that.
Me too. Me too, Yada.
Right? Versus 5 minutes I can do, and maybe I'll go 25. Doesn't mean I won't, but it means I'm committed to 5. What's the smallest life step that you can instill today that you're willing to be consistent with? Because if you're not consistent, it's really not going to do much for preventativeness.
Yes.
It's going to have you praying for a miracle down the road, or putting the horrendous amount of effort in for restorative healing.
I love the words that you use, life steps. What is the smallest life step? In other words, this isn't a one and done. This is a life step that will lead to your healing. Yeah, that's wonderful.
And it works in any area of your life, right? Yes. This balloons behind me, maybe a few people are saying, why the fun balloons? And it's really in all the core areas of our life, whether it's in relationship, was depicted by the red one, it's on that side. The blue one, which is about our mental well-being. The orange one is about our physical, our body, and what we can do with it, how we move and dance and carry on. And then our green is about our financial, our careers, our money, the wealth part that we've got to work with. And then the purple, which kind of looks blue in this light, but it's really purple, is our spiritual well-being. If we have those 5 areas handled and they're in harmony with each other, all you need is like little teeny life steps in each of them. So I just encourage you, identify some that have worked for you, because maybe the one that's worked for you is the one that will work for someone else. I love that, Valerie. What intention do you set? I love that you set intentions. What is it? Because that's the game changer, as specific as humanly possible. And it's all about the compound effect, Suzanne. You're absolutely right. Because it's layered.
It's layered.
It's layered. So what is your singular life step that you're going to embrace anew, or maybe for the first time? so you can move into the preventativeness healing.
So good. So true. So good. So good. Yada, this has just been an absolutely juicy conversation. Kim says relationship, mental, physical, financial. She's naming them all. And spiritual areas. So, so important. And they're all connected. They're all, because lack in one then becomes that ripple effect, that domino effect. You know, a lack in one, then it starts. So such powerful. So Yetta, what is it, as you know, as we're preparing to close, what would be the last words that you would give to our audience to just encourage them? We've got
everybody, everyone, each of you, singly and collectively, can take a life step that will be a game changer.
Yes.
So the goal would be find a life step, choose any, really, and think about which one life step for you will actually have the biggest impact across all the areas. Is it more rest? Yes. Is it more walking? Is it because you'll have more energy? Is it kinder conversations with your loved ones?
So good. So good.
Is it simply knowing where your money's going, so you have more money than month rather than more month than money? Is it spending time every morning with your spiritual power? What is it? You know best. Is it pressing pause on the negative and play on the powerful in your brain? What is it? Just what's that one life step for you that you could implement today, actually not today, in the next 5 minutes?
Yeah. Right now.
5 minutes. Yeah. Right now. Right now. Because that's what it's all about.
That's right. That's right. And so, you know, I love this because these are such simple steps. Yes, right now, that if you're, you know, in Delaware, Yetta, it's raining, right? So of course, you know, if you're thinking, well, I'd like to walk, well, you can stand exactly where you are, like I can, you know, and you could just walk for that 5 minutes. If it's that 5 minutes, and you could just be in motion for that simple life step. So love it, Yetta. I'm going to be using that. What's your life step? I love the conversation today because my 2021 retreat, women's retreat, is called Celebrate You. Because, and the way that we celebrate ourselves is through our healing, our holistic healing, to where we can continue to take those life steps, to where we can be healed at a cellular level, and to where we can live really as God has, from the day we were created, ordained for us to live, right? And so this is a great conversation. Guys, I want you to love on Yetta, because it's just been powerful. It's just been powerful. Val, if you can post it in the Facebook, in the chat, the website, you know, to go to my website and check out the information for the retreat, connect with me, and let's continue to have forward moving conversation. I don't know about you guys, but this was definitely a forward moving conversation. I cannot wait to hear the feedback from everyone who've taken that life step in moving forward with your health, your healing, and your happiness. That whole 360. Powerful. Thank you, Yetta, so much. I'm so grateful to you for joining me today. Tomorrow, Yetta, we have Yasmina coming on from Belgium. Super excited about that. So please give our love to Ken. And Kim, let's see. She's showing, this is your website here. Is that correct? Yes.
Now, this is Celebrating Journey. So as you talk about celebrating you, what we're doing November 21st, and I hope you'll join us, Esther.
I will.
We're having at Roar Canada a mastermind for 4 hours, which will be a setup. It's in like 2-3 weeks. And early bird is until the 31st. So that's like 2 days. Celebrating Journey. So I can't believe the alignment, Esther.
It is powerful, right?
Powerful. So celebrating journeys, which leads you to celebrating you and living you a holistic journey at your retreat in 2021.
The reason why it's such an alignment, Yetta, it's because celebration is key. Psychologists and research has shown that celebration is so key to our success that it, you know, God even speaks of it in the scripture in, I believe it's Nehemiah that says, come on, let's celebrate. It's important to celebrate yourself. It's important. Laughter is good for the soul. It's time for us to celebrate. We're just living in a time where everything seems to be spiraling down, right? And it's not. It's going up. When you're celebrating you, when you're celebrating yourself and you're on that path, guess what? Your life can only go up in the midst of a pandemic.
Absolutely. Say it, girl.
In the midst of it, your life can only go up. So that's why it's such alignment. It is time to celebrate you. It is time to go on your path of healing. So of course, please, you've got the information for the celebrating journey. I will be joining you. So I'm excited. Thank you so much, Yetta. Yay. Yay.
Thank you, Esther. This has been a delight. What a great conversation.
Great conversation. And so
each of you, to Annette, to Kim, Suzanne, Valerie, Michelle, everybody that was here to connect, watch the replay, like celebrate.
Celebrate. So many people connecting from everywhere. I love you guys. I thank you. I appreciate you. I want to respect your time. So take care. Myrtle says, thanks, ladies. And I will see you guys tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another juicy, dynamic, courageous, forward-moving conversation. Love you. God bless.
Thank you.